Morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Friday, the 26th day of July, 2024. Happy Friday. I hope you're all safe and healthy today. I hope your family's safe and healthy, and I hope the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field, along with the first responders who every day are saving lives. Those also that pick up garbage to keep our places clean, and those that make deliveries for our convenience. Deliveries of food, deliveries of mail, deliveries of people. Blessings, double blessings on the men and women that are out here trying to help rescue, deliver, and recover the teenagers and children that are the unfortunate victims, child molestation and pedophilia. People that are also victims of prostitution and child prostitution, pornography and child pornography, human trafficking and sex slavery. Double curses upon the perpetrators of these things. Double curses on those who actually profit from these things. And double curses on all the perverts that create the great demand for these things. Finally, double blessings on the homeless. Nearly 600,000 men, women, children, families, senior citizens, veterans, sleeping in cars, in vans, and on the streets of America. Double blessings upon them and on the millions of people that are even in worse conditions, that have no shelter around the world. Okay, today, we found out 2 days ago, I'd say, that Rokas Jokubaitis is going to be playing in Israel. Rokas Jokubaitis was drafted by the Knicks 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, had been a draft and stash guy. And now he is not going to be signed by the Knicks, but he is signed by a team in Israel to play professionally there. And he was very happy about it, and he got a contract. I think it was a 3-year contract that he got. And what this shows, because Rokas Jokubaitis played very good. Both the first year he was here, when he played Summer League with IQ and Deuce, and this year he was even better. It looks like he's bigger and stronger, much more savvy, lefty, nice guy, a nice player in my view, an NBA level player. It just goes to show a couple of things that people just don't recognize. See, when I say this is the league, this is the league. 30 teams. 15 players on each team, basically, not including two-way players, and the best basketball players on planet Earth play in this league. And every season, they have a draft. All 30 teams, for the most part, get to draft and see if they can get new players. But there's not 30 spots, generally. And they draft 2 rounds, almost 60 players. And there's not 30 spots. Somebody's going to lose a spot. Sometimes it means that a veteran is out, can't play no more. There's no room for him. Dwight Howard, okay, Boogie Cousins. Sometimes it means they're done. There's younger players coming in, or players with more skill, and there's no position for them. Okay, people don't understand it. This ain't high school. This ain't AA. You could just add a dude to your team and go in the summer somewhere and rock people. It don't work like that. Okay, so it's very, very competitive, and everybody wants to get in there. You see how many people play the lottery every single day, so that when somebody doesn't win, it builds up until there's billions of dollars sometimes in there, and somebody's looking to win, or a group of people. NBA is like the lottery, because the best of the best get to play there, and when you play there, you pretty much become an instant millionaire. And so people are trying to get that money. They're trying to play this game that most of them love, and they work extremely hard to get there, which is why when a guy works really hard to get to the league and makes it, you should have respect for that guy, like a Jericho Sims. Jericho Sims played behind several people. Mohamed Bamba, he played behind him, played behind Jared Allen, played behind several guys that went on to play in the league, and then was drafted as the Mr. Irrelevant and made the Knicks roster and now is a contracted NBA player and a young millionaire. Congratulations to him. So we don't, you have to have respect when people do that and make the leap, and what it costs for them to get there, and the effort they put in. So we respect Jokubaitis. He's going to Israel, but there's just no room for him on the Knicks. This is especially true of teams that are in the top 10 in the NBA. The top 10 teams, including now the New York Knicks, are generally so good and so talented and so stacked. There's no spots for them, for anybody to get on their team. Okay? There's no room. There's too much. In the Knicks case, and you're looking at, and a lot of people, what happens is, in Knicks Nation, it's sad. Like I said, Knicks Nation has the battered wife syndrome in some circles of Knicks Nation, because they got a good team, they got a good management, they got a good coach, and they're not satisfied. And they still looking for changes. It's almost like a form of self-sabotage, where you're looking to sabotage yourself like a battered wife when you got a good man. The Knicks have a coach, Tom Thibodeau, that is not a surprise in terms of what he does. He does the same thing every year. Same thing. He's a 9-man rotation guy, not 10. He favors defense. No defense, no bueno. You cannot play. He has sat all-stars and veteran players, which he favors veterans. He has sat them, Kemba Walker, Evan Fournier, when there's no defense being played. And makes no qualms. When he sat Kemba Walker, they said, is Walker hurt? He said, no. He said, well, he's out of the rotation. He didn't even say out of the starting lineup. He said out of the rotation. And that was the COVID year. And then when there was so much COVID going on that he had to play Walker, Walker scored 40. And then when the starters were ready again, he sat again. No defense, no bueno. And many refuse to see what's obvious. So here, Rokas Jokubaitis is an example. There's no room. The Knicks are stacked at the guard spot. They have Jalen Brunson as the starter. Deuce is the backup. And then the situational vet is Payne. Then the rookie Kolek is stacked. See, if this was a rebuilding team, if you're starting like the Nets are now, you're starting with rookies, young players, you're trading away your vets, Kolek would be like a starter on a team like that. But this ain't that type of team. And speaking of that, I get this is one dude, Ronald something. It's like you get a little dog that yaps at your heels all the time and you want him to shut up. That's this dude. And he keeps saying, well, Deuce is not a true point guard. And I got not a whole bunch, but I got a contingent of people that follow that. Let me straighten this out for y'all. First of all, it doesn't matter whether you believe that Deuce is a true point guard or not. That is irrelevant. What is relevant is that he has earned his rotation spot on Tibbs' 9-man rotation. That's the only thing that's relevant. And the more important even, the Knicks win with him. They're plus when he plays. Whether he's a true point guard, whether he's an off ball, is irrelevant. They're not adding any more point guards because Deuce is not a true point guard. They're not doing that. They're good. And we should all be happy because I don't know about y'all, but seeing guys like Jose Calderon that couldn't guard his shadow, or Manuel Mudiay that played no defense and we was getting beat continually to the point to get a guy like Deuce, I don't care if he's a true point guard. Put him out there. Because Maxey don't want to see him. The Leprechaun don't want no parts of Deuce. Dame Dollar don't want to see him. Yeah, he has some problem with TJ McConnell. But most of the guards in the NBA, aside from TJ, they don't want to see Deuce. They don't want to see him. And I'm glad for that. But that's an example of what I'm talking about. The Knicks are stacked. They have their guard rotation. They got their wing rotation. They're just missing a backup center. And it looks to me like, in my view, and some of y'all have asked me, in my view, the only thing right now is August 6th and September 9th. Why do I say those 2 dates? After August 6th, Tyler Kolek can be traded. Let's go back for a second. Let me explain again. The Knicks are stacked at the point guard spot. Tibbs does not like rookies. He's not playing Kolek. Kolek is not even situational. Payne is situational. Okay? They signed this vet to a 1-year minimum to be the situational point guard. Kolek ain't playing. He's going to be playing G League. He's going to be playing in practice. But that's it. So August 6th is a telling date because he could be traded. And again, let me point out to you, Deuce ain't going nowhere. I hate to break it to you. No, I like to break it to you. Deuce ain't going nowhere. So August 6th, he could be included in the trade. September 9th or 8th, somewhere around there, Bates Diop can be included in the trade. And if you want to package those players to go get a Capella or a Nick Richards, that's the possibility. Other than that, and I want to say other than that, you could stick with Precious and Jericho Sims. The thing is that neither of those guys, Precious or Jericho Sims, and let's go one at a time. Precious can ball. He's Charles Oakley 2.0, and that's the problem. Why do I say that? He's a natural power forward. Okay? He's not a 5. He plays the 5 when he needs to, and he does a very good job defensively. Against Embiid, he did a good job against Embiid. He did a great job against Giannis defensively. Okay? So he can ball, he can play some defense now. That's why he was out there. But he's not a natural 5. His natural position is the 4 spot. Okay? Problem is, the Knicks got Juju. That's the same problem we had with Obi. But the difference between Obi and Precious is that Obi was not a 5. I mean, not only was he not a natural 5, he just couldn't play the position. He's a 4 all the way. Whereas Precious can play some 5. So in terms of what Tom Thibodeau wants, in terms of a rim protecting 7-foot dude that covers ground as a 5, Precious ain't it. But Precious can guard 5s, 4s, 3s, 2s. He really can. Okay? And he's a natural 4. So he's not the perfect Tom Thibodeau backup 5, but he will do. You could do a lot worse. And then there's Jericho Sims, who has, again, earned his spot. Tibbs respects guys that go through his hell for a couple of seasons and stick, such as Jericho Sims. And so we have seen videos of Jericho working with Mike Bibby, working on his offensive game. Looks even, and Jericho's a physical specimen already, right? I mean, but he looks even more taut, more streamlined, more in shape. And I'm not saying he was ever out of shape, but he looked like he's coming ready to play, ready to compete in camp. So if we go with Jericho and Precious, we still good. And you know what? As I said the other day, that's the worst case scenario. Don't let us get Clint Capella. Don't let us get him. So, and some of y'all didn't understand. Well, I don't know why I went Clint. You better go look at his video. You better go look at some highlights. That brother led the league in rebounding just 2 seasons ago. Okay. And how much does Tibbs like a rebounder? And I don't care if he starts or come off the bench and whatever, vice versa. You can play him and Mitch Rob. And that makes the Knicks really devastated. The NBA don't want to see that. So anyway, if we end up with Precious and Jericho, the Knicks are still rough, man. They still rough. And so that's going, you will find out by early September, though. That's what I'm saying to you. And if Bates Diop is included, that's the latest we'll find out. If Bates Diop is not included, you'll find out in a couple of weeks, like 2 weeks. Okay, you'll find out about 2 weeks what's going on. But those are the last 2 dates for anything that I see getting done in terms of a trade. Okay, before the season starts. So I'm really, though, honestly looking at the Knicks just going with Precious and Sims and rolling with that. Okay, they are looking to kick, and the Knicks are one of the top teams in my view under the Don. They've been one of the top teams in doing due diligence. They will search and check everything, and people take their due diligence as a move that they're making. They do thorough due diligence. I mean, I love this regime. That's one of the reasons I love the regime. Very patient, very methodical, long-term looking, and due diligence. They check everything. So because they called on Kessler, they called on this one, that one, everybody looking at that, and people ready to run, like Berman and run and make headlines, the Knicks get ready to make a deal. They do due diligence. And so this is the Capella, Richards, it's due diligence. Okay? They do that. So they're checking into things, but that don't mean they're gonna make a move. At the end of the day, here we are in late July, and most of, like I said, your Valanciunises are signed already. Your Mo Wagners are signed already. So they're not on the table. So now you got to you're looking at Clint, and the reason you're looking at Clint, let us not forget. Some guy mentioned Nas Reed. See, why? Why are you mentioning Nas Reed? What you think, that Minnesota going to give up the sixth man of the year? Like, he's a key piece of their rotation. So don't just throw people out there to think that, we can go get this one like it's a loaf of bread on the shelf, man. Please. But the reason Capella is available is because Onyeka is the center of their future. He's the 5. Capella's still, basically late in his prime, but he's still 30 years old. He can still ball. But they drafted Onyeka Okongwu, who's cheaper and who's the future of this. He's only 24. So that's the guy they want, and he's very daggone good too. So that's why Capella's available. Okay, and Capella, everybody, Capella's a veteran. These guys ain't been around. They know what the writing's on the wall. So they're just looking at his Atlanta, and Landry Fields. They're looking to get the best value for him. Okay, plus get his salary off their books and build for the future. That's what they're doing right now. So that's that. Nick Richards, Charlotte is at the bottom of the pile. Okay, they've been in the lottery every year. Okay, so Nick Richards doesn't fit the timeline. So that's why, but they want to keep him if possible because he's only $5 million. Okay, so if you got a center that's capable, Nick Richards is, that you could stick in there for $5 million and not have to worry about, while you paying, $75 million for Miles Bridges, while you paying big money for LaMelo Ball. Okay, so you got him. You got the rookie, Brandon, whatever his name. You got the future. So that's why they would probably want to keep Richards, because he's cheap. Okay, and he's definitely serviceable. Put it that way. So you got a serviceable 5, and then you got I think it's Mark Williams that they got behind him. So you got a serviceable 5, and you got a young guy that's just heir apparent as well. So that's why you may not be able to pry him from Charlotte. The best opportunity is in Atlanta with Clint Capella, again, because of their situation. So if that doesn't work out, though, I could see the Knicks just riding with what they got, Jericho, Sims, and Precious. And if, God forbid, somebody gets hurt, you still got DS there from the G League. You could plug him into Jericho's spot on the end of the bench, and he could be there, too, if you need him. So I think, to me, though, the likelihood is the Knicks stay put. I wouldn't be surprised if they made a deal if Capella became available. They made the right. See, this is the thing about the Don. If the price is right, he got a price in his mind. If the price ain't right, he ain't making the deal. It's beautiful, man. I like to see Knicks management do that. Some of y'all still in beg mode. We got to give up the whole world to go get this guy and pay him the world. No, we in the position of strength. So the Don goes into the shopping mall and he got a price in his mind for the clothes. If the price ain't right, he walks out. So if he don't like the price for Capella, he going. And Landry Fields ain't no dummy. Boy came from Stanford, right? And he's an executive for a reason. So he ain't no dummy either. So they'll have to have a meeting of the minds. This ain't Jack the Ripper. That's why you ain't doing no business with Utah, because Ainge don't know how to make a right deal. He just wants to win in the deal. He's very competitive in the deal. And that's cool. Obviously, Boston won a chip. A lot of that architecture was Danny Ainge, but when you're dealing with the Don, he ain't having that. He ain't taking no loss for you. No. So we look in Atlanta, but to me, unless something happens, I'm thinking they're going to go into camp and have Sims and Precious with DS and just move from there, because the team is stacked, man. The team is stacked. You got OG coming back healthy, Juju coming back healthy. You got McCall now you added to it. Mitch Robb is healthy. You got, Precious is ready. You just got to give him his money. And then you got Deuce, you got Devo, and you got Hart. We good. We good, y'all. And then you still got Payne. You got him behind that. You got Jericho. We good. So we stacked. Knicks are top 10 in the league. They're definitely top 4 in the East. No matter how way you slice this, the Knicks are top 4 in the East right now going into the season. So we just need to be healthy and stay healthy. And they're going to be hell to pay in the NBA. They really is. So we wish the best to Rokas Jokubaitis. He was good enough to play in the NBA, in my view. There's just no spots. It's just very competitive, man. And so we wish him the best. Maybe in the future he come back to the league. But I don't know if the Knicks still will keep his rights or how that works. But he can come back to the league in the future. But he's good enough to play. He just ain't got. There's just no room, man. There's just no room out here. No spots left. Y'all enjoy your Friday. So.